Again, this is Priscilla Vatsell in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Fluid Art Studio / Gallery. That is a piece of acetate that I've cut a round end on. This is, I believe, an 8 by 8 inch. I don't think it's a 10. I think it's an 8 by 8 inch pre-primed black, pre-primed with Meeden Black paint that has GAC 800 and golden, GAC 800 from Golden and Floetrol in it. If you need that paint pouring recipe, you can ask me. It's different than the Prizm pours and primary elements recipe that I used and that I'm about to use again. So I want to make a present for a friend of mine for Christmas because she really seemed to enjoy it. And I had great success with and have enjoyed making the Northern Lightscapes. And this is Black Iris. This is a color art color. I'm a color art affiliate. Anyway, so I want to have enough paint on the bottom to swipe through and make a pattern down there. But I also want to have enough paint in the center right below the Northern Lights. This is the Midnight Shadow. And it occurs to me I want a little bit of something that I didn't pull out, and that would be... Now you can make this Quinacridone golden color with a vivid, intense Quinacridone. But this happens to be some Nicolazo gold from Golden that I have left over. And I'm just going to put a few little bits of that down there. I think I'm also going to include a little bit of deep amethyst. And I'm hoping I get away with this. So I don't really want to do my bottom first. And what else do I want in there? I want some Chantilly lace. Because it's sort of, I'm trying to give the impression of it being a bit snowy. And I might put some black on my blade, but I have yet to decide that. So I'm also going to incorporate a little bit of sparkling aqua, which is a primary element. Just a little bit here and there. And I might use that again in the Northern Lights, the same as this is Sea Monster, another primary element. Then I have a mix of Frosted, which is a pale blue, with some vivid, intense magenta, ultramarine blue, and dioxazine violet, which I really don't need much of down here. But if I use a little bit, it will make the swiping go easier. I've also got some Sea Monster. Excuse me, I said that already. This is Sea Glass, and that's going to go in with my Northern Lights. Matter of fact, I might be jumping the gun on that. So let's do what I was going to do here and move my center part up. I like some of the Northern Lights I did. The square one I did, the 14 by 14. The center section that I'm doing now, which I called the sky, really looked like the shadow of trees at the horizon, which wouldn't really bother me at all. And it reminds me that I like the Royal Sapphire for the reason that it's gorgeous. It's a Prizm pour, and also it's the thing that will help make that look like trees if that's what the person viewing it decides it is. I might also throw, because I have it, a little wintergreen in there. Prizm pour. I don't think I can hurt anything. I don't think I need much in the bottom since it's supposed to be a snowy scape. I've got some purple. I don't know if I should have put as much of that in there as I did, but since it's supposed to be, in my mind this time, it's supposed to be trees, it should be fine. And I'm going to use some Pebeo iridescent silver in Australian Floetrol. And instead of using the Meeden Black, I'm going to use some Australian Floetrol and some, why is it escaping me, Amsterdam Black. So I'm going to go across and then I'm going to go up and down, because I like to make layers, or things that look like layers. And just dabbing with the OXO Omelette Turning Flip and Fold Spatula, best paint spreading tool I know of. Works pretty magically. And I can always come back to this later, because it looks to be nice and wet. And do I want to use any of that? I don't think I think I'm going to wipe that off in my studio rag. And then I'll get busy. I'm going to put a little bit of gold interference. The interferences are what makes the Northern Lights look like the Northern Lights. In my opinion, anyway. So I don't need that much gold interference. What I love the best is the violet. Excuse me, please. This is the interference green. I'm going to do a little bit of that mixed in first. I'd like to put the violet in last to make sure it's dominant. I'd like that to come out now. Maybe opening it all the way would be a big assistance. I'm trying to remember the colors I put down because they won't show until after they dry. There's some interference blue. I'm going to move that down into the... Now, I've talked about, at least to one person, the fact that I really thought, where's my violet? That I thought that you could swipe with anything, not just with my OXO Omelette Turning Flip and Fold Spatula, best paint spreading tool I know of, on my Amazon link under, under show more under the video. Excuse me. Now, do I want a little bit of paint? I shouldn't have wiped that paint off. I should have just used it right on the top, which means I'm going to give myself the opportunity. This is Black Iris, if I didn't say that. I'm not sure I did. But it's a beautiful, shimmering, iridescent blue-green. And I think it'll be perfect as something to float the Northern Lights right up into. Now I'm going to start with my spatula just to see how far the paint will go. And I'm going to knock off the extra color. And then I'm going to use a playing card. I'm going to dip it in something else first. And then I'm going to use what I think might be even better, which is that piece of acetate I started with. As long as I didn't hide it on myself entirely. Oh, please. They do disappear, I gotta say. Pieces of acetate do not, even with paint on them, because they're totally camouflaged. I have another one. I have another one and I'm willing to use it. Alright, so this one is, I don't know if you can see that. That's roundish. So I'm going to dip that, bring it down. And then I think for that, for purposes, I think I'm going to need some more. But I am going to steal a little something else just to change the colors up. Yeah, I like that. Now you want to probably make sure that you don't have any dried paint on one of these old acetate swipe cards. And I can push off the back and drag down. I'm dying to use one of my little Princeton Art Tool Catalyst spatulas to see if they work just as well. So let's do that. I'll wipe this off first, just in case I might want to come back to it. My favorite is still, for all intents and purposes, the OXO Omelette Turning Flip and Fold. I'm going to use some of this frosted with Magenta, Ultramarine Blue, and Dioxazine Violet that are all Vivid Intenses. There's going to be a coupon code below Show More for Color Art products. I'm an affiliate, so if you shop Color Art, help me out. That's a little bit more of that sea glass. Nothing works as well as the OXO Omelette Turning Flip and Fold spatula. I think it's the most conservation oriented of the bunch. It carries a blade of paint with it. So I can go back again, and it has that nice rounded area, so I'm going to pick it anyway, so I can add some colors. I'm going to put a little bit more. What am I going to use? I'm going to try some of the sparkling aqua over here, because I have noticed that Northern Lights seem to be dominantly green, and some more sea glass too. And I like what I've got so far anyway. I do have a lot of reflection from the lights in my studio tonight. It's the second shortest, it's the next longest day to the shortest day of the year here today. It's December 22nd, the shortest day being the 21st. And I'm trying to decide what, if anything, I want to do. Now I don't mind the fact that my canvas is dry behind, and instead of doing balloon rolls, I'm just going to use a spatula and do blade dabs, which is pretty similar. Now this Chantilly lace, which is what I'm just using, is so incredibly sparkly when it's dried. I'm going to turn that right side up for you, and I'm going to just try and pull an edge down to create a highlighted area. And then I'll turn it back around and see if I like it. As long as I'm not completely obliterating your view. I hope I'm not. That would be good. And every time I have excess paint over the side, I'm just going to touch my blade to the area. I'm wondering if maybe, I think I'm going to try, yeah, I like that fine. Try the playing card. Might work as well, if not better than, the spatula for the delicate procedure of adding stuff. I kind of want something dark along the horizon. So I'm going to add a little bit more midnight shadow. But then I want to add, I'm going to use my silicone mat and add a little black. And I must have a dark green here somewhere. I've got something called Dark Waters, although it is looking like it's been left in the open position. And whether it'll, oh, I got something out of it, yay. So I have a little bit of paint left on my card, as you can see. And I don't want to do too much with it, except for I want some horizontals in the background. Maybe shorter ones would have been a better idea. Anyway, I'm going to use that midnight shadow and just dip my card into it. And this is for Dawn. And Dawn is a very good friend. She has some stuff coming up that might be a little stressful to most of us, and I think I might as well keep that private. So, but I do like the idea of, yes, if I just dab with the side of my number 2 Princeton Art Tool Catalyst spatula, it does sort of give the impression of trees. I think I'm going to come back. Yeah, I'm really liking that. Come back and just sort of dab all over the place and create the impression in the paint of branches. And then I'm going to call it good. And thank you guys for being here, and hope you are happy checking out my link tree below the video for my Amazon link where you can find my 2 books, Because I Can and Unlimited Possibilities. And Society 6, The Gallerist, all kinds of cool stuff. I like the simplicity of just making a chevron shape, sort of arrows to the sky, not getting too overly involved in being precise about anything, just adding texture at that horizon line that vaguely infers trees in front of the Northern Lights, which I really enjoyed when it was accidental, and I'm enjoying just as much when it's not. Alright, it even looks like I could put a few Let me try a few little dollops of snow here and there and see what happens. I didn't do that on the last one. The one thing about Dawn is she is from Florida, so snow is probably something she's only ever seen if she went on vacation. And I'm from New England, so I've seen more than my fair share of snow for a lifetime. Yeah, I did manage to use up all of my time again, but I'm kind of liking how the little dots of white look to make this a different piece than the other two. I'm sure there'll be plenty of winter left to show this. I'm going to show the second one the day after Christmas when people are less busy. And if you don't like where you put your white dots, or in this case Chantilly lace, you can always just go back in with the spatula and dab around in there and mess them up, and that'll make them look organic. That's my reasoning in any case. I'm going to have to do something for myself. I don't want to run out of time. I want to be able to show this to you. Although it might be really, really difficult to shimmer anything at you. But I do like the snowy covered branches at the horizon. And I hope you do too. And if you do, leave me a message and comments. Thank you guys for the wonderful comments you leave me to keep my morale boosted. Thank you even more for joining my channel. If you do, you're enjoying over 80 videos dedicated to the members only library. So what did I say? I said I was going to dot and dab my way to happiness. And I don't want all of these to be too round, because there's no way they're clumps of snow on the trees. Although they do look kind of like, you know, fat white caterpillars when you see them. Yeah, I really like this. And I hope you do too. And I'm going to zoom in, tell you guys I love you. Give me a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind. I'd really appreciate that. I didn't get too fancy with the bottom trying to make any cells, but it wasn't important to me to make any cells. And I can try and shimmer this at you, but I don't, like I said, I don't have any guarantees. But I really like how it turned out, and I hope Dawn does too. I like it so much I might have to do it again. That's really pretty. I like how the bottom turned out too. You don't have to get too elaborate. Just dab your way to happiness and leave some of that white area so it looks like everything is shadows that isn't the white. The white is highlighted. And don't get too fussy about needing to be smooth in your highlights. It's an abstract impressionist painting, so you should be all set. Please share my videos, watch them longer if you can, and check on my link tree for Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter links. My email address is P.E.s.P.B. in lower gallery spelled out at gmail.com. If I can help you, I can answer your questions. Not just on the community board, but in comments, and they help my YouTube standing. So your questions are welcome. My Amazon link is a great place to shop. You can find my 2 books there and 4 lists of tools and toys. And if you shop there, it's at no added cost to you, and it helps me out, and I really appreciate it. I want to thank you again for all the love in 2022, and hope you come back in 2023. I give lessons at the house in Spring Hill, Florida, and I do sell my artwork. This one's not for sale, but if you like it enough, maybe I'll add it to my prints collection at fineartamericapixels.com. I will be torching briefly, although when I swipe with a spatula or similar, I don't usually think there are any bubbles, so I shouldn't have to worry about it. Alright, I love you guys. I think I said that before. My paint pouring recipe is below the video. I almost forgot to tell you that. But I hope you have a very, very happy, healthy 2023, or whatever year it is when you're finally seeing this. Maybe this will be evergreen content. Alright, Happy New Year. Bye for now. Priscilla out.